So, Ramon, my next question is about the driver shortage. Now, with recent changes, tariff is impacting the industry. Now, what's your take on the shortage? You think the shortage is still there, and we're going to need more drivers in the future?
Good question, but I'm going to correct you on the term shortage. So we got to be careful. You and I lived through the actual driver shortage where there was no bodies to find with AZ licenses. So we breathed through that time. It was definitely a precarious time in our industry where we couldn't find enough drivers, and the US is still feeling this challenge. The driver shortage that we see today are not actual physical drivers missing, but it's the actual drivers that are qualified. So we are missing, yes, there are drivers, but are there qualified drivers in our industry? That's the question. So there is not enough qualified drivers in industries. And if you want to fast forward to what I predict in the future, will we need drivers? Absolutely. One of the main indicators that I look at during my time with Challenger, when I was their director of recruitment, was I looked at demographics. If you look at demographics, and again, this is a small sample size, just looking at Challenger. Challenger's sample size in terms of drivers, it was scary because the demographic in the age group of 50 to 65 accounted more than 50% of our driver force. So think about that for a sec. So if we have, I don't know what there are right now, but when we were there, we were like 800 to 900 drivers at one point. So half of that is going to retire through normal attrition. Has nothing to do with tariffs, has nothing to do with the industry, is going to exit our industry. So half. So if it's none, you're looking at 450 trucks without bodies, like physical bodies, drivers to drive it, right? Now, if you add in the other factors that factor in, you want to talk about immigration? Let's talk about immigration. We have a lot of drivers in the GTA Ontario that have driver's license who does not have tenure in terms of, are they going to be able to work here long term? We don't know. We may know this afternoon or tomorrow morning when their new government is formed, but we don't know where immigration is going to go. Because a lot of those drivers that have licenses today are either visitors or they have an open work permit with an expiry date. So we don't know what their future is going to be in 2 years or 3 years. A lot of those drivers have work permits that are actually expiring. So what's going to happen to that group? Are they going to be having to return back to their homes? So there's a lot of factors involved. So not just age, but age I think is the number one, because we have an aging population. We have an aging demographic in our industry. So if we don't infuse it with drivers, and good thing that you guys are doing what you're doing, because we are preparing and we are endorsing this industry to future drivers of tomorrow to make it, to show them that, hey, this is an actual career where you could provide for your family. This is an actual career that will give you longevity in terms of the future, right? I always tell people, and all my drivers that I've hired in the past, if you have a license, you will always have work. Because we're not, until we get to a day where it's Star Trek and, things are teleported, we will still be needing drivers and we will still be needing trucks to deliver those goods. So in the future, yes, we are going to get back to a physical driver shortage. That's what I predict, if we don't do a good job in making sure we're prepared when that day comes. And it's coming, right? 50 to 65 year age group demographic is high. Probably not just our company, but there's probably other companies that are in that same boat. And if all of them are in the same boat, they're also going to be thinking about the same thing.